Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I am your host, Anthony Ragucci, and this is Replay, Relive, and Re-Experience, as we like to call it, Re3s, where you guessed it, we do all three of those things to our favorite video game franchises. In this edition of Re3, we'll be reliving, replaying, and re-experiencing the Halo franchise, starting with Halo Combat Evolved and ending with Halo 5 Guardians, in anticipation for Halo Infinite this December. Here to go on Master Chief Saga with me, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio, who's not here today. It's just Delaware County's own Chris Geddes. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you, Trio?
Oh, damn. Yeah, so Trio had to call out last minute, so we decided, in the interest of time and getting this done, we're recording. What's today? It's like September
21st.
So this should be out relatively soon after we record this somewhat, but we're kind of, December 8th is fast approaching. These episodes are going to, at this point, come out a lot faster than they were. We're probably going to do a few a week as opposed to one a week.
Yeah.
And, we're just like, all right.
We got to kick it in high gear.
Trio called out, so we're just going to do it because, it's just easier getting the scheduling this shit. If you do podcasts, is probably the most rigorous part of the whole ordeal, especially if you are involving guests or people who aren't normally on. It's like, all right, everyone's schedule has to fucking figure it out. But anyway, let us get into this episode 25, Tip of the Spear and Long Night of Solace. Synopsis: Tip of the Spear is the 5th campaign level of Reach. After June and Noble 6's discovery of the hidden Covenant army, the UNSC decided to execute a large counterattack against the Covenant. I feel like this is the first level where the game kind of like kicks it up.
Yeah. Funny enough, I feel like this is it's oddly reminiscent to the same trailer from the game when it came out, where the original Noble 6 dies. It's kind of the same setup almost, like the same spire. You notice that? It's kind of like we're going back to square one, and
yeah. I mean, I don't really go over that cutscene considering there's no dialogue and it's all like description. I'm like, we'll just play it. I mean, I think there's some dialogue, but I don't know. Well, if I play it before or after this, but we are on Sursdock Ridge, Utzgazet. Yeah, on August 12th, 2552 at 800 hours.
It appears that Noble Team's discovery last night was not an anomaly. Large Covenant deployments have occurred undetected, and we are now under attack across the Vieri territory, including orbital defenses. As per the winter contingency, we are countering on every front. Noble's reconnaissance has also identified sophisticated Covenant army hiding canopies, and has pinpointed what's believed to be a landing zone for additional Covenant forces, the origin of which is yet to be determined.
That landing zone has been tagged by UNSC Command as a Priority 1 target. That charge link is loud and clear.
Copy that. Acquiring signal lock on the pylon. Detonating in 3, 2.
Incoming!
Might want to hold on to something.
So yeah, the cutscene with like all the warthogs and basically it just looks like one big war. Like, it's such a good cutscene.
Right. Yeah. The Covenant has assembled, the UNSC has assembled, and we go head to head, and pretty much it ends with us just crashing, essentially.
Us rolling around in a warthog.
Yeah, so what happens? You go over the bridge, and the bridge falls out, and I think you, like, ramp over.
The way she, like, lands, you go over. The way she, like, lands the warthog, you go, like, nose first into the ground and tumble around.
So we emerged mostly unscathed from our crash, and we are wielding the new weapon, the grenade launcher.
The M319 individual grenade launcher is a single-shot, break-action explosive launcher used by the UNSC. Due to its simplicity, ruggedness, and firepower, it has been a mainstay weapon in the UNSC Army since its adoption in 2263, and has seen action in several armed conflicts during nearly 3 centuries of use, with the Human Covenant War as the most prominent. It saw use during the Fall of Reach. Some trivia, the counter on the left of the weapon switches from armed to, very briefly, linking just after launched, and then to either in air or linked after the round is launched, depending on the firing mode, and finally to boom upon detonation. I never noticed that.
I actually, it was one thing I always noticed, the little screen changing from back when I was first playing Reach. One thing I noticed with this game, there's a lot of reference in the wiki to the UNSC Army, not the Marines, which makes sense. I guess the Army would be stationed planet side. The Marines would technically be in space. If you think of the Marines with our real military, they're in the water, or they're usually like, and they start from amphibious, like that's how they go in. So and I'm just like, okay, like, are these guys Army or are they Marines? Like I can't tell. But the doc like seems to say like I think you need the DMR was also like an Army weapon.
Army,
I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
I think you're right.
So basically what we're doing is we're trekking to some Type 31 Tyrant AA guns, and that's pretty much what most of this mission is until the very end. Some things I noticed kind of while going through. Did you notice the grunts now sit in the Wraith gun?
You know, I noticed it, but it like didn't pique my... It didn't,
I thought it was kind of interesting. I was like...
Their little feet. They like dangle when they sit on it.
Dude, they're huge. Like, I'm like, the elites kind of like fit in there, but like the grunts are just like their whole back is like exposed. Another thing I noticed was like the frigate in the skybox. It kind of like comes down like right next to you, and that thing is there pretty much the whole mission. We run through a mining facility where you be Carter.
Okay.
I'll be Dot and Catherine.
Okay.
And Cat. We get to a mining facility and Dot keys us in. New friendly intelligence. Friendly forces near Covenant. New intelligence. Friendly forces near Covenant outpost have spotted a high-value target. An elite zealot, in fact. All right, let's see if I can remember this. A zealot. We're on to something big, Commander.
Eyes on the prize, Noble. Take out that zealot if you get the chance, but keep moving towards the spires.
So, if you remember, we had a conversation with Dr. Halsey, and she was saying, she kind of gave us the brief on the zealots of like, oh, they're here to like pick up like
relics
that are relevant to the Covenant religion. So I'm trying to think. They're basically there to get to Halsey. They're looking for that like excavation data or the data she had in Sword Base. I'm pretty sure, but like they're not near there. But I guess that's why they're there, because I was like, there's no other.
What else would they be there for?
Right,
yeah.
And that's essentially kind of future spoilers. What you end up like getting like repurposed to do is go to secure or destroy that intel from Sword Base. So you can quickly track down the zealot. You kind of like turn a corner, go up some steps, and he's there. And I think if you kill him early, I think you get an achievement. Like you can kill him when you first see him. He like comes out, and you see him, and you can like shoot at him real quick and kill him, or he like runs away.
Really?
So I think you can like follow him for a little bit.
Must have missed that.
Yeah. So after that, after we kill him, there should be a plasma launcher. He doesn't wield the plasma launcher, but there's a plasma launcher on the ground, not too far from the ghost that we'll be getting in a sec.
You pick up the plasma launcher. The Type 52 guided munitions launcher, more commonly known as the plasma launcher, is a plasma-based explosive launcher used by the Covenant Empire during the Human Covenant War. The weapon is capable of launching up to 4 large explosive plasma grenade-like bolts at a single target. These can be fired individually or all at once if charged for a short time. A plasma launcher with full battery is, in total, capable of firing up to 12 bolts, regardless of whether fired individually or in bursts.
We'll travel a little bit further, and then we'll exfil with George. We'll do some recon on the spires, and once we're close, we get shut down, unfortunately, and now Six and George have to make the trek up to the spire.
Aren't they
and
like
take it out?
Aren't they like EMP'd? I don't think they were like shot down because it has like that EMP
Yeah,
field.
I think you're right. Yeah,
and they as soon as they go in there.
And as we move toward the spire, we encounter more skirmishers with a new variant of the sniper called the focus rifle, and we'll be picking that up.
The Type 52 Special Applications Rifle, more commonly known as the focus rifle, is a direct energy weapon used by the Covenant Empire. The earliest known sighting was during the Battle of Reach in August 2552. Seemingly, it was replaced by the beam rifle, but Jul 'Mdama's Covenant appears to have scavenged some for their use after the war. The focus rifle is a Covenant sniper-style weapon that, despite its visual similarities to the beam rifle, functions quite differently from its counterpart. It fires a continuous orange-tinted beam similar to a sentinel beam. This weapon is believed to be battery-powered, though the exact mechanism by which it functions is currently under investigation by the UNSC.
So I think this is pretty much the last new weapon in the game. What do you think about like some of the new arsenal in this game?
I like the focus rifle. It reminds me of the Sentinel beam, and I like the Sentinel beam. So.
I'm really indifferent / leaning on the negative side for the concussion rifle, the focus rifle, and the plasma launcher.
Yeah.
Like I don't find them that like gap filling or
I don't
good.
like the concussion rifle.
They're like they just don't. I don't know. They don't do it for me. At all.
Not at all.
Like the needle rifle is great, but like even in 4 and 5, I think they bring like if they're not bringing those exact weapons back, they're like modifying them and bringing them back. I'm pretty sure. And like like the plasma launcher was never a gun like I like super enjoyed all that much. I'd much rather just use the fuel rod cannon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but the human weapons, which I think is just the DMR, right? And the grenade launcher.
Yeah.
And that's it?
I mean, the pistol's back, but...
Yeah, okay, so this is the return of the pistol getting better.
Yeah.
Halo 2 and 3, they're trash. Well, actually, I guess you could count ODST, but it's kind of like a different pistol. Yeah, but, oh my God. I remember when we get to 4, the pistol's just so much better.
Yeah.
So we will continue up the spire. Again, mostly just combat sections here. Not much to talk about. We'll go up the spire, disable the shields, and the frigate will take it out. The shield dissipates 6 sprints from the Falcon and leaps off the spire and is caught by George, who pulls 6 to the Falcon.
Get us out of here, Carter says.
The Falcon begins to pull away.
Control, this is Noble 1. Spire 1 is green, and you're free to engage.
Copy that. No, sorry.
Have a nice day.
Copy that, Noble 1. Be advised, all ground units, Frigate 318 Heavy is inbound, and MAC rounds have been authorized. MAC rounds in atmosphere.
One way to get their attention. Hang on to your teeth, people.
The UNSC Grafton, in a shallow dive, moves toward the spire past the Falcon with 6, Carter, and George, and the Spartans brace themselves. The Grafton continues to move towards the spire and with a bright flash fires its MAC heading, hitting the spire and shattering it. George, satisfied, turns back and nods at Carter and 6, failing to notice as the purple glow illuminates illuminates the sky above the Grafton. An energy projector beam shoots down from the sky and hits the Grafton bow section, instantly gutting the ship. Secondary explosions blossom along the hull, and the Grafton seems to plummet towards the ground. Dot says, "New contact, high tonnage." The Spartans watch as the aft section of the Grafton explodes and the forward section crashes to the ground. No! No! Someone tell me this isn't happening. UNSC Frigate Grafton, do you copy?
Grafton is dust. We need to get out of here now.
As the shattered UNSC Grafton falls toward the surface, a massive CSO-class supercarrier, the Long Night of Solas, is revealed holding position over the destroyed spire. That is our level. Tip of the spear.
Another great ship name.
Yeah, of course, as always. I think this was the level, again, I think this level, the game begins to amp up. The Winter Contingency Sword Base, not Exodus, the levels before this, whatever they all are. It's a very, like, slow build-up to get to, like, okay, like, we know kind of what happens here, and then, like, you think like, you have a leg up, and like it instantly gets taken away from you. In this level, it's like, okay, like you destroy the spire and the frigate gets blown up, and here comes the cruisers to come glass Reach. So we're kind of at the halfway point. How are you liking your Reach replay?
I love Reach. I'm very partial to Reach, maybe because of the whole I can create my own character and customize my own armor. So it's like, it's more me than I am Master Chief or Rookie or someone along those lines. So I like having basically my boots on the ground instead of playing as someone else. That's how I always feel.
So this is the second time I'm replaying it kind of within the year. And for some reason, it's not like clicking with me. Like I'm not enjoying it all that much for some reason. I don't know why. I'm kind of finding it like, this is like a little harder to get through for some reason for me. And I'm like trying to figure out why. I like really couldn't tell you. Like it's not a bad game by any means, but like I'm just like kind of like
there are some levels that, you know, are not up to par with some of them. Next one, Long Night of Solas.
Yeah.
Not crazy about this next one.
Yeah, I don't like Long Night of Solas either. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of nostalgia with Reach, and I think in the multiplayer, and like, again, you're kind of talking about the customization, but like the campaign, it's good, but like there's something about it, and maybe it's the fact that like we're kind of doing the research on the wiki, and like there really isn't much meat to what's going on with Reach. It's a very like surface level story, like where the Covenant are just as base as they were in Halo 1, and you're playing a group of Spartans who are new to this game, never been explored in the lore before, and don't really have much beyond this game or before this game. Like, there's really no lore to these guys. Like,
you're just thrown right in.
They're there for Reach, and they die in Reach, and that's it. And then, like, there really isn't a lot more to it. And I guess that's kind of what we got more with, like, Halo 2 and 3 and ODST. Like, the lore was expanded upon, whereas Reach, they kind of, like, went back to that. It's a surface-level story. Like, what you're seeing is what you're getting. Like, there's really not much going on in the background. Whereas, like, 2, look how crazy that story is with, like, all the characters. And, like, you're learning more about the Covenant. And, yeah, it seems like a regress in a ways and a progress in other ways. And I think in the campaign, it's definitely, like, it's good. The gameplay's great, but like the story and the narrative takes a regress.
Was Halsey in 1 through 3 or
no?
Could this be like
she's not
like a introduction to her almost to like get you ready for, because this was I guess 3 was over and there wasn't anything related to 4.
It's funny. I was thinking this is the first time we see Halsey.
Yeah.
How the fuck did we know about Halsey before this?
Unless you because you wouldn't have even been able to do the terminals.
Right, because I'm thinking, I'm like, I feel like I've known who Halsey is for like a good while. Like I don't know why, and I don't think it was just because of Reach. Like I feel like I knew who she was in like 3.
Yeah,
but like she's not in the games. I don't know why I would know that. Maybe I read the wiki and like
maybe just had it like in the back of your head, you know?
Right. It definitely could be it. So let's move to our next level, the Long Night of Solas. This is the 6th campaign level of Reach. This is the first and only level in the Halo series to feature a playable ship-to-ship combat in space. The mission centers around delivering a slip-space bomb to the supercarrier to destroy it. I thought you were...
Oh no,
you're like
ship to ship. Ooh,
yeah,
good for them.
I heard you like open your mouth. I was like, what does he got? What does this kid got to say? So we're back, the same place we kind of were, Sursdock Ridge, Utzgazette, August 3rd, 2552.
August 13th.
What'd I say?
3rd.
August 13th, 2552, 20:07 hours. So we are next day, end of the day.
It's like that night, yeah, the night after.
Yes, yeah. So it's been a full day since this battle. The screen fades into a dust cloud as a scarab walks by. Dot says, "Our foe is more devious than we imagined." I wish I could like do her voice justice. I just can't. The Spire was indeed a teleporter linked to a cloaked Covenant supercarrier, a grave threat.
Noble 3, 5, and 6 arrive at a cave. George carrying a large briefcase. The scarab can be heard firing its main gun in the background.
Thankfully, help is imminent. 60% of the UNSC fleet is en route to Reach from existing deployments. The first battle group should arrive within 48 hours.
George tosses the briefcase at Emil's feet.
June, 48 hours? That's imminent?
June wipes off glowing ash from George's shoulder pauldron.
Uh-oh. Who's your money on this time? George says, her.
George takes off his helmet.
You always pick her. She's always had him dialed in. That thing's crushing us. We're waiting for backup. They'll be backing up a graveyard.
All our nukes are either out system or went down with the ships that carried them. You're preaching to the converted.
How converted?
I know that look, Cat.
You can say no.
No.
You don't even want to hear it?
Fine. I'll hear it.
Remember that accident a couple years back? Colony ship en route to Cygnus? 700 dead?
Vaguely. A slip space drive malfunction, right?
Actually, it worked fine. The drive was mounted improperly after a service haul-out. When it fired, it teleported half of the ship to oblivion.
And this is relevant how?
A certain Covenant supercarrier could, with some assistance, suffer the same unfortunate accident.
Even for you, Cat, that's
Inspired?
not the word I would use. George and Emil walk up to them.
What's going on?
What's going on?
I need different voices.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. Explain. Cat reaches for Emil's kukri. He stops her.
May I?
Emil allows her to take it. June and Noble 6 walk up. Don't cut yourself.
Objective, destroy the Covenant carrier in geosynchronous orbit above us. This sanctioned, sir?
What do you think?
Oh. Method? A slip space delivery in lieu of a nukes we don't have. Delivery system. Us. Solvable. Getting us up there. That and getting our hands on a slip space drive.
Cat gives Emil back his kukri as he sheathes it.
Thank you for sharing.
So, all we need is orbit capable transport and the single most expensive piece of equipment made by man.
As a soldier in the field, I couldn't possibly have access to those kinds of resources. That said, a good place to look might be, I don't know, the nearest non-existent launch site and a non-existent Saber program dismissed by 3 administrations as preposterous rumor, and in which our newest member is certainly never a pilot.
They all look at Noble 6. You're scary, you know that?
All we need is the green light from Holland.
Good luck with that. Cat hands Carter a datapad.
You're the one asking him.
Carter reluctantly takes the pad and turns away. He starts tapping the screen. Oh, there's no way in hell he's going to go for this. Fade to black. Screen fades back to a lake. Saber program launch research range in Farkas Lake, Ipaz on August 14th, 2552, 12:48 hours.
So I like how, Cat... clearly, remember we were talking about the mission before this where Tom dies and, she's clearly, a leader.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And, it's funny how Carter's the leader, but, Cat's the one running this shit.
Stepping it up, oh yeah.
Yeah, and, she clearly dug in on 6.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that he was, part of this, So, I looked up, what the Saber program is. I'm like, they're just, ships.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be anything super classified.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's I don't know, maybe they're like running on some experimental fuel that's controversial. But they just seem to be new. I guess you could compare them to S70 SR-71 Blackbirds back in Vietnam.
Yeah.
They're just this I guess new type of technology aircraft that's I don't know.
And this is the only time you see them, right?
Yeah, and 6 happens to be one of the test pilots. And it's apparently on reach. Very convenient.
Very convenient. The screen moves to show the launch facility. A Falcon drops off Nobles 1, 2, 5, and 6 at a beach, downrange from the facility.
So we're going to move up the beach to the facility, taking out all the Covenant as we go. We get to the facility, and we get to the Saber, and we take off with George, leaving the rest of Noble 6 on the ground. So, what exactly is the Saber? The YSS-1000 prototype anti-ship space plane, usually referred to as the Saber, is a space superiority starfighter used in the UNSC Defense Force during the Human Covenant War. Its first known use was in Operation Uppercut, which is the plan we are going to execute in this mission, during the fall of Reach. The Saber was a result of the top-secret UNSC project, denied as preposterous rumor by 3 UNSC administrations, as Kat told us. Noble 6 was a pilot at some point during the insurrection of Mamor. By 2552, the Saber served as the UNSCDF's primary planetary defense fighter. Reach had multiple Saber fighters stored in launch facilities on the planet's surface. In addition, the orbital platform Anchor 9 had several Sabers in storage in its launch base. Gamma Station also had several Sabers storage. So, this is Operation Uppercut, and again, we launched into space. We are in our Saber doing our space fighter to fighter
Some Star Wars
segment.
shit.
Yeah. So what do you think about this whole part?
Well, it's all right.
It's really hard on Legendary. It's like unreasonably hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
You just get one-shotted by like pretty much everything. Like if a Seraph is on your ass,
you're dead. Of course.
Yeah. So we're going to defend Anchor 9, which again, we're just fighting Phantoms, Seraphs, Banshees. It's funny that a Banshee can fly in space.
I was thinking that.
Because like the back's open.
Maybe they, special elites inside that have like...
well, they do have the Ranger elites have that like...
That's, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be enough to protect you from like, you couldn't just get in without any armor.
Yeah, definitely not.
So again, we defend Anchor 9, and our next goal is to disable the Corvette Ardent Prayer. Real quick, this is the first time we've ever like heard the term Corvette used to describe a Covenant vehicle. So the Corvette is a light capital warship classification. It's like the lowest possible like warship. It doesn't have shields. It's like pretty base. Savannah Actual chimes in. Frigate Savannah in position. Saber teams round off as we are going towards the Corvette. This would have been so much more fun with Trio. But this is Echo 1, all systems nominal.
Echo 2, good to go.
Echo 3, systems green.
Echo 4, all systems online.
Savannah Actual, sound solid copy. We are currently jamming the Corvette's comms. Hit it hard while it can't call for help.
Holland says, agreed. Saber teams, clear path to that Corvette.
Might want to clip her engines, Colonel. See if we can slow her down.
Good thinking, Savannah. Now, that will make boarding a whole lot easier. Noble 6, I'm marking targets. Take out the Corvette's main engines.
So we will destroy the engines, and then we will board the Corvette. And one of the first things to notice, there are engineers on board. Which
did notice that,
which makes sense because that's where they would be stationed normally, fixing the ship and doing the ship stuff.
That's very interesting that they put them in there.
Yeah.
Something that they could have like totally just
glossed over, and nobody would have known the difference. We pretty much clear the entire ship. We get to the hangar, and we get to the hangar, and George, along with his Pelican, can board the ship with the slip space bomb. Savannah to Holland, sustaining major structural damage. We need to break off, Colonel.
Copy, Savannah. Our team is in. Disengage.
Noble 6 arrives at the plasma battery, finding 3 Sangheili gunners outside the window. Multiple plasma bolts can be seen impacting the fleeing frigate. Explosions blossom along the Savannah's hull. Break off, hull breach, reactors flaring. Damn it, I'm losing her. The frigate's fragments then explodes at its midsection.
Savannah Actual, can you hear me?
Frigate's gone, 6. Nothing we can do.
Noble, you're in deep with no cover. Get that Corvette moving and get the hell out of there.
So we'll head to the bridge, clear the bridge, and then send the refueling signal to the Covenant fleet, which is what the Covenant ship will just look like it's normally going back to the rest of the fleet to refuel.
Well done, Noble 6. Uppercut initiated. Corvette is underway.
6, all right, is... I like keep changing George's voice. 6, all right, is out of here, taking heavy fire. Get back to the hangar. One thing I noticed at this part, the grunts don't speak English anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They just, like, gurgle in alien.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, that's an interesting change, because, like, I guess in a day they learn English.
Yeah, yeah, honestly. What's it like? When's this, the 12th? Or the 14th?
Yeah, what is the Pillar of Autumn gets attacked
Isn't
at
like,
the end of the month?
Yeah, it's like September 20th.
This game takes place over, like, a good, like, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, a lot of time actually passes. I think...
Well, there's a big jump from
Oni sword base to the level after that, Nightfall. There's, like, a week or two, like, jump. Yeah. We return to the hangar, and Dot says, distance is closing in on this vessel's refueling track. With the Covenant supercarrier, 76 seconds to endpoint. Can you read the in-betweens?
Yes. George attempts to arm the slip space drive timer, which fails to respond.
Damn it. So it's going to be like that.
George hits the timer in frustration.
Well, I got good news and bad news. This bird took some fire, and her thruster gimbal is toast, which means the only way off this slag heap is gravity.
And the good news?
That is the good news. At current velocity, 53 seconds to endpoint. Yeah.
George removes his helmet and just drops it to the floor, landing near his feet.
Bad news is, timer's fried. I'm gonna have to fire it manually.
That's a one-way trip.
Well, I'll make it sooner or later. Better get going, 6. They're gonna need you down there. Listen, Reach has been good to me.
George removes his dog tags and gives them to 6.
Time's come to return the favor. Don't deny me this.
George lifts 6 up with one hand and carries him/her to the hangar shield door. 6 showing little resistance. View changes to Noble 6 point of view, facing George before him saying his final words to 6.
Tell him to make it count.
I love that line. We'll miss George. George tosses 6 out of the hangar into space. 6 begins to fall back to Reach. After Noble 6 has fallen some distance, George activates the repurposed slipspace drive directly under the supercarrier. The view changes back to the camera of nav beacon RA-15, which shows a massive slipspace rift opening near the supercarrier's midsection. The Corvette disappears instantaneously, and the supercarrier is severed in two as its entire midsection disappears into the slipspace rift. View changes back to Noble 6 point of view as he descended. View returns to nav beacon RA-15 as a shockwave of ionizing radiation passes over the beacon, causing electronic interference with the camera. Navigation beacon RA-15 on screen. Signal lost. A sudden rupturing noise is heard.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Gamma station control reading multiple pings below the orbital defense grid.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Yeah, we're picking up anomalies too. Are you reading this?
Slipspace rupture detected.
More and more Covenant ships drop out of slipspace. Multiple Covenant signatures.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Does anyone have a visual? They're everywhere.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Navigation beacon on screen. Signal lost. Oh, this can't be happening. Must be the whole damn Covenant fleet.
Slipspace rupture detected.
Screaming can be heard on the comm. The nav beacon's camera cuts out. The scream abruptly cuts to black. Level ends.
Again, it's like we get like one leg up and like just shit goes wild. And they're showing up to glass the planet or begin to glass Reach. It's crazy. It is kind of like you're literally like, this is like, I feel like the only time, like, I know in the beginning of ODST, they're kind of like, you know, the intro is like, we're losing the war. It doesn't necessarily like seem like that necessarily, but this is like Reach, they were like
caught off guard. They were not ready for this at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, again, like it's the game just like it keeps going from bad to worse, from like worse to like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And in the next level, we'll see that even more so. But that is the end of this episode. Guys, thank you for listening on podcast services or on YouTube. You can find us over on Twitter and Instagram at Delco Nerds, as well as our Facebook. Just look up Delco, facebook.com/Delco Nerd Network. You can find all that information on our site, www.delconerdnetwork.com. As well, you can shoot us an email at delconerds@gmail.com. Comments, concerns, things for the good of the group, whatever that means. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay nerdy, and we'll see you next time.